this special, we're going to be discussing everything about the ICC ODI World Cup. The wait, of course, is over. The dates are set and the venues have been finalized. Since we're talking about the ICC ODI World Cup 2023, which India is all set to host this year. And the battle for glory will begin on October 5th and end on November 19th at Ahmadabad's Narendra Modi Stadium. The ICC has released the schedule for the exciting tournament. Talking about the hosts, Team India will play 9 games in the league stage of the 2023 ODI World Cup, with Rohit Sharma-led side beginning its campaign against Australia in Chennai on October 8th. The 2011 World Cup champions will then play Afghanistan on October 11th in New Delhi. India's third fixture in this blockbuster will be the match against arch rivals Pakistan on October 15th at Ahmedabad. And the two rivals have faced off against each other on endless number of occasions in the ICC event, with India coming on top in most of them. And the men in blue have a 100% record against the men in green when it comes to ODI World Cups. While home conditions will definitely give India the edge, it won't all be a smooth sailing. The men in blue's record in the ICC tournament over the past decade, remember, has flattered to deceive, to say the least. In fact, they have not won any ICC title since the 2013 triumph in the Champions Trophy. To be talking to us more about what the ICC event looks like, let me go across to my colleague Karishma, who joins me live on the broadcast. Karishma, good evening. In fact, when you broke that news for us that the ICC was going to put out the dates and venues today, that's happened. And I did tell you we'll be joining you with all the excitement for the high-profile tournament. As you speak about that, of course, when you check the schedule, I think everybody, regardless of which team you're supporting, will always look forward to that one match between India and Pakistan. So take us to all the exciting fixtures as well, and what people can expect from the ICC ODI World Cup 2023.
Well, yes, absolutely. The BCCI Secretary Jai Shah, also when he was announcing the venues and the schedule, he specifically announced India versus Pakistan venue, which was Ahmedabad, because he also knew that the entire country and cricket fans are waiting for this one particular match, that is India versus Pakistan at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad on the 15th of October. But apart from that, India is going to start its campaign versus Australia in Chennai. Then, of course, they will be moving on to Dharamshala as well on the 22nd of October, where they will be playing against New Zealand. There is going to be the match versus Afghanistan in Delhi. So very, very important matches. The first 5 matches for India that will, some way or the other decide whether India is on track to qualify for the semi-finals or not. Semi-finals to be played in Mumbai and Kolkata. As far as India is concerned, they will be playing in Mumbai if they qualify for the semi-finals. But if they are facing Pakistan in the semi-finals, then they will be playing in Kolkata at the Eden Gardens. So day and night matches will be 2 p.m. start. Day matches will be a 10:30 a.m. start. So all of this has been sorted, and today the schedule was announced, as there are just 100 days to go for the marquee event, and the expectations from the Indian team, from the men in blue, are going to be achieved what the Indian team under the captaincy of MS Dhoni achieved in 2011, which is it had won the World Cup. So the expectations are going to be at that level for Rohit Sharma and his team. Whether they can achieve it or not, we will have to wait until the 19th of November to figure that out.
Absolutely, Karishma. Thank you very much for joining us in the broadcast and getting us all those details. Of course, that is the big question. Will they be able to do that? But for the moment, we leave it at that. But taking this conversation forward, Ayaz Memon, sports journalist and writer, joins us here this evening. Ayaz, thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us here on Mirror Now to be discussing everything to do with the ICC ODI World Cup 2023. Of course, the schedules are out. India and Pakistan will be the most awaited one. Like always, they will clash on October 15th. Excitement for the same. Your first take about it.
Oh, absolutely. I think the minute the match has been announced, and if they open the windows or they open the bookings, I think it'll kind of vanish in less than a minute. The stadium, 110,000 seat capacity. There's already so much anticipation and eagerness about watching this match in the World Cup. It's obviously the marquee match of the tournament. But let me just give you a little reminder here that may not necessarily be the only match that India and Pakistan play. Technically, there can be 3 India-Pakistan matches. So apart from this, they could meet in the semi-finals, or they could be 2. If they meet in the semi-finals, or they could conceivably even meet in the final.
Absolutely, Ayaz. But there is another aspect, of course, about India playing in ICC titles, or rather events, which is the ICC title drought, which continues. In your opinion, will this play on their minds?
I would imagine so. I mean, ultimately, players are also human, and the pressure of expectation is so huge. Remember, we're a country of 1.4 billion, and everybody is a cricket fanatic. So, in that sense, yes, there'll be pressure certainly on those who've been around for a while and who've been playing these ICC tournaments and haven't won anything. Guys like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Ravindra Jadeja. I would imagine the last time India won an ICC title was 2013, when all these guys were playing. So, they know what it is to have won, and they haven't won since. So they'll be feeling the most pressure, I would imagine. But also some new players who will join up. Maybe somebody like a Yashasvi Jaiswal. We'll have to wait and see how they kind of handle the pressure, but the pressure will certainly be there.
Absolutely. And of course, to kind of talk about the other aspect of it is the permutation and combination. And that's just less than 4 months left for this high-profile tournament. And combination has experiments as well, talking about suggestions. In fact, Ravi Shastri went on to say, ideally to keep 2 left-handers in the team. What would your ideal permutations be for the high-profile tournament?
I think, look, the playing 11 will not be determined till the tournament starts, or at least, because that's the time when you fix or find your 11, and that 11 may differ from match to match. There might be a core group which is consistent, maybe 7, 8 players, maybe even 9 players, but 1 or 2, you keep that flexibility just to kind of match the opponent or the conditions or, the situation of the tournament. But the ideal combination, I think, look, India is playing at home. You would imagine that there'll be a lot more emphasis on spin bowling. So spinners will be of high value in this tournament. Guys like Jadeja, Yuzvendra Chahal, I would think even Kuldeep Yadav. Who knows if R. Ashwin can come back into white ball cricket or not. So these guys will be there. And I think also the top order batting, and that's really the major balance that the team seeks. Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul if he gets fit, Virat Kohli, obviously Shubman Gill. I think the key figure here, or the key, I would actually like to name a couple of them. Key figure would be Jasprit Bumrah. If he recovers in time and plays the World Cup, I hope he does. Because then, though he's not a spinner, he's a fast bowler, but he becomes a very pivotal figure. He's been an extraordinary bowler whenever he's playing. And there's Mohammad Shami, who's been rested for the West Indies tour, as we know, just to keep him fit and high energy when the ODI World Cup begins.
Talking about permutations and combinations, about players who can make it or not make it, before we wrap up, Ayaz, I definitely have to ask you this. There's a lot of conversation about Surya Kumar Yadav, or a dilemma rather, over his role and place in the team. Your take about the same?
I think in white ball cricket, I don't think there should be a dilemma to include him in the squad. The first thing is to get into the squad of whatever the 16 or 18 member team that they will announce, and the fact that he's going to the West Indies as a member of the white ball team or the ODI team is a clear indication that he is definitely, in my opinion, going to be in the squad. And from there, it's a very minor step to get into the playing 11 for the kind of form he has shown. Now, obviously, his form should continue in the West Indies. Remember, there's a massive battle for places in the Indian team. The Indian cricket is so rich in terms of talent that there are not many places open for the taking. So whoever gets it will want to keep it for a longer time, and therefore whoever else has lost it will have to make that extra effort to regain his place.
Right, Ayaz, on that note, we're going to leave it at that. Hopefully, India managed to recreate the history that they did in 1983 and 2011. But for the moment, thank you very much for joining us. But let's take this conversation further and all the excitement to do with the high-profile event. I'm being joined in by Rajinder Amarnath, former cricketer, as well as Karan Ambardar, sports analyst on the show. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining us here on Daily Mirror on Mirror Now. In fact, let me come to you first, Rajinder Amarnath. with the fact that, of course, whenever it's a high-profile event like this, everyone's looking forward to India and Pakistan. We'll get speaking about that first, and of course, then other aspects about the ICC ODI World Cup.
Well, it's a big event, if you ask me. It's happening after 2011. India has played in 1987 World Cup semi-final, which we lost to England, but we made amends there. We won in 2011 against Sri Lanka. Now, this is a big event as far as cricket is concerned, because India at the moment is ruling world cricket. Let's not, we don't have any two opinions about it. Also, this is the first time we are having a World Cup conducted by India all by itself. Earlier tournaments we had share of our neighbors. Some of the matches were played in those countries, but this time it's going to be purely Make in India World Cup. So when you're talking about the Indian team out here, the prospects, how we're going to fare, what kind of wickets are going to be prepared. There's already been a lot of controversies, couple of venues are not part of the World Cup. And it's understandable that those associations are quite crossed, that this is once in a lifetime opportunity for the associations to conduct a World Cup match. But having said that, I think the venues with what we have on the list, they're all marvelous venues. But what kind of wickets are going to be prepared, that we have to wait and watch. And what sort of a combination India is going to come up with for the World Cup, that also needs to be seen. But a lot of questions have been asked. A lot of people have been asking me about the prospects of India winning the World
the
Cup.
permutations and combinations in your opinion as well. But let me take that point across to Karan. Karan, as an analyst as well, there is going to be a little bit of home advantage for the Indian side as well. So how do you look at it? And what are the, potential matches that you're also definitely looking forward to?
Oh, definitely. There's a huge home advantage that we're going to enjoy. And, as you were discussing with Ayaz sir, that, there's going to be a lot of pressure. I think we should look at it the other way. We should not treat this as pressure, but in fact, for the fact that we've not won an ICC trophy for the last 10 years, we should use this as a motivating factor for ourselves. When I say ourselves, I said the team, and ensure that we perform well and get this World Cup back into the country. Yes, it's going to be fun. It's back into India, the World Cup. The kind of craze that cricket enjoys in this country, and people are looking forward to it because a lot of superstars are going to be probably playing the last World Cup. So you will see a lot of retirements happening up after this. Some of the superstars will not be playing another World Cup after this. So there's going to be a huge buzz, huge excitement, a lot of expectations. The matches, of course, that I'm looking forward to are number one on my list is India-Pakistan. I mean, that is going to be a cracker of a game. And also, a lot of people are saying that we are opening our account with versus Australia, which is a tough one. But I think it's a great advantage, the kind of schedule that we have, because by the end of it, we'll be playing against slightly weaker teams, the qualifiers. And in case our campaign does not start off on a good note, we will have time to cover up, and we'll know in case run rate comes into play when you talk about getting into the semis.
Right, and there's one interesting aspect that you've spoken about, which we definitely have to discuss, is India's ICC title drought that continues. Let me take that point across to Rajinder. How do you look at that? Where do you think India is going wrong, especially in such high-profile events? Do you think home advantage could also potentially give them that boost that they require this time around?
But to be honest, home advantage could be double-edged sword for India. There's always expectation from billions of people who are going to be watching the tournament across the world. Even in India, the stadiums are going to be packed. Expectations are going to be very high from our superstars, because India has not won anything major in the last couple of years. This is a big opportunity for the Indian team to do it. But it's going to be one game at a time. We just cannot run through the league matches and pinpoint that we're going to beat Afghanistan or we're going to have better of Australia. Because as Karan has been saying, that the big event definitely is India-Pakistan match, which is going to shut shops across India and Pakistan. It's going to be a national holiday, I feel, for both the countries, because everybody is going to be watching that match.
Right. And talking about everybody happening to look forward to the ICC World Cup 2023, Karan, there will always be expectations and there are also predictions as well that always comes through. What do you think would be the ideal combination to go with, and who do you think will be missing out on a spot?
That is a very interesting question you're asking. I think the whole country is talking about that. All the experts are talking about that. And the fact that you're mentioning about the drought that of ICC titles, I think selection is one of the reasons that we haven't won. And a lot of the experts of the game are now being extremely vocal about it. So India has to ensure that they pick the right 11. Not just that, the right 15 as well, who are going to be part of the campaign, because they're going to be different wickets. The weather is different. The last time we played in India, it was during the summers. This time we're going to be towards the climate is going to be cooler. So they're going to ensure they have to ensure that the right 11 are picked. For me, the problem area for India is number 4. With injuries to our key players, I think number 4 is a slot that the Indian team will be worried about. And I hope and I keep my fingers crossed that Bumrah comes back. We really need Bumrah. The country is missing Bumrah. So fingers crossed. Let's see. Hoping for the best and hoping India wins this cup again.